Hello, all the crazy people out there. My name is Michael. I like wizards and dragons and making games, and let's make some games. This is 3D Wizard Game. We are back officially after approximately about exactly a year of hiatus. Today, I am going to start actually working on things again and looking at, I think, Pushable Rotors is going to be the subject of today's video. So I apparently, ahead of time, went and made myself a few 3D objects out of these blocks, which will serve as our pushable rotors. These are going to be temporary, obviously, because they look terrible. But we're going to have these shapes which you can cast push spells on. And then I'm not entirely sure how useful this is going to be from a gameplay point of view. But when you cast a push spell on one of these, if it's able to turn 90 degrees in the direction that you hit it from, then it'll turn. My usual point of reference for describing these things is I want to say what was it? One of the gyms in Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald had something like this going on. I want to say it was like Brawly or something. But anyway,
Hey.
that's what we're going to work with today. Let's see. I guess the best place to start when it comes to being gameplay stuff, creating a new spell interaction would be something like taking an object which can already respond to a spell. For example, a treasure chest, how about? And duplicating it. And then we keep the behaviors that we want, we change the behaviors that we don't want. Yeah, let's just call it rotor. And I'm going to go and, let's see. First, we probably are going to want to give it a model of some sort, yeah? We've got expel contents, we don't need that. We've got can be unlocked, we don't need that. Where are we actually going to be setting our 3D model? Is that a variable definition? Apparently that's a variable definition. I don't think I need these two variable definitions anymore. Oh, you know what they are? They're set in when you load them from the file, I bet. Is it called map something? Map import? I'll add a Unity object so that we can, place these down in the Unity room editor, as it were, later on. But I think set mesh index. What's that? What does that mean? Oh, I just need to. The important part is the set mesh method on the instance. So if I'm just gonna hardcode one to spawn for now at the world origin or something like that. Where's obj game? So after... Oh, I see I'm already doing it for the seesaws. Let's create a few of them. Let's say rotor 1 is going to be instance create depth. Actually, you know what? I don't think I need this particular test object anymore, at least not for now. So I'm just gonna reuse its position. Obj 3D spell rotor, and rotor 1 dot set mesh. Going to set it to that. And now when I run the game, we should at least have one of those spawning in. I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen when I cast a spell on it. Because I haven't, implemented any of this. It'll probably crash, I think, because it's going to probably, likelihood look for some value that doesn't exist. We already are looking for a value that doesn't exist. Okay. I probably should just, get rid of all of this then, right? I think I safely don't need all of that. All right. Where did that spawn? Oh, that spawned in the air. Well, as far as that goes, it's correct. It did what it was supposed to do. It did what I told it to do. Just I wasn't very precise about what I did want it to do. So let's actually put that on the ground and let's see what happens when I cast a spell on it. Okay. Bonk. Alright, so if can I not cast a spell on it? Do you not have any, collision properties either. That's not what I expected to happen. I'm gonna have to think about this. Okay, you know what? It's usually the simplest and or stupidest solution that's the correct one, and the solution here is that I was not calling update collision position on the right object. All right, I was like going through the you know, the game files to see if I apparently forgot to like assign collision to this object or not. Can I cast a spell on you? I can. The game will crash, as I said, if we do that because it's looking for code that doesn't exist. By the way, I also the spell response was set to obj spell unlock because I cloned I think it was a treasure chest, which is openable and not a pushable object. So I'm going to change that back to the correct spell response. So now that that's working, we should probably actually get to doing what we, you know, want to do. And I think how is direction controlled when you go and update your collision positions? Is that just literally like the direction variable in GameMaker? If I go into 3D object, is update collision position going to be here? It is. Okay, so not quite what I said. What's the rotation mat? Is this just a GameMaker matrix? Let's search for that's actually assigned to. Yes. Okay. That is just a GameMaker matrix with like. All right. So I think I can figure out what to do for here. I'm gonna say. Let's give this 2 states. One is going to be still, and that's going to be our default state, and the other one is going to be turning, and that's going to be our alternate state. Let's see. We don't need any of this can be unlocked nonsense for the still state. Okay, so the spell response will like when you're turning, you won't be able to cast a spell on it because that might confuse things. On spell, that is something that we'll need to be able to respond to later on. What else is there? Turning, when we update you, we'll want to like change the angle that you're moving at, right? Oh, I can also get rid of these 2 states because those aren't relevant anymore. So I'm thinking like in the same way that should be a variable definition, I think. I'm going to make that a variable definition for reasons pertaining to, like, reading things out from the Unity file. I'm going to, because most properties from, like, when you read them out of the Unity file, they're going to be, like, set as an instance creation parameter, which you want variable definitions for. But anyway, where were we? So we have the target direction. I can say, I'm gonna have to do this slightly differently if I want to be able to turn things clockwise or counterclockwise. But anyway, we're going to approach, the source is our current direction, the destination is our target direction, and the amount, let's make that 1, and then if you reach the target direction, self.state.change back to still. And I am going to want when you enter the still state, we're going to want to set the spell response back to obj spell push. And I think to start out, to test things, let's say on spell self.state.change to turning, and we're also going to want to we'll figure out which direction you should turn in a moment, but firstly, let's just hard code that to like to positive 90 degrees. All right, so nothing happened. Why did nothing happen? Why did nothing happen? Oh, you know why? We're not actually... So when we do this, I should probably also set the rotation matrix. Matrix build. Does that need to be... All right, so we've got our position matrix and our rotation matrix. So that's just going to be dealing with rotation. Can I also delete this? Because that's like the generic 3D object draw event. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. So no transform, no translation, no rotation on the X. Rotation on the Y can be our facing direction, no rotation on the Z. Uniform scaling of 1. All right. I guess the next order of business after that would be to have it, all right, it's turning. It would be to have it update its collision position, because we can see that if I stand here, still using the old collision. So after we change our rotation matrix, let's update our collision position. So I hope this is not going to be a problem if the player like is standing like here. Oh, I just get pushed out of the way? Oh, that's right, because displacement. Okay, sphere displacement. Good. I'm glad that I apparently made that easy for myself. Okay, this is actually like really satisfying. Watching myself get... Oh, now it's just going. Okay, that's because the direction... Alright, let's not use direction for this. Because GameMaker direction is a built-in variable which has some special behaviors. Among other things, it will automatically wrap around once it hits 360, and because target direction doesn't wrap around when it hits 360, it, like, won't. So, yeah. We'll use our own direction variable for that. But other than that, I think this is a good first step for the rotors. And we can, of course, if we want it to be really fancy, where are we spawning in our test object? If we want it to be really fancy, we could use one of the other rotors, and that'll be like a three paddles, I guess, and that will allow us to do this. And we can like stand here, get shoved. All right, wonderful. Man, I miss working on this game. So next there is the matter of what direction we should actually turn in, and I had some... I know I did this before in Wizarducks, at least one of the versions of Wizarducks. I don't know if it was the current one or not, but like actually figuring out which direction you should turn in is going to be like... So this is going to be a little bit of math. Let me open up Photoshop and let me just start drawing. And we can say like, all right, if we have... Okay, you know what? I think I was like way overcomplicating this, so let's try that again. So let's draw a simplified rotor diagram here again. And then like, if you take the direction that the spell is coming in from, when you make a collision, and then if you just take like the direction of the collision relative to the position of the rotor itself, which would I guess be like the center of that the center of the hitbox that you hit. So like if the direction here is like a negative angle, so like -5 degrees or whatever, then you're going to want to rotate in the positive direction. Otherwise, if it's the other way around, so if you land like instead here, and then this angle will be like a positive... Let's draw a nice theta there, a positive like 5 degrees or whatever, then you're going to want to go this way. Okay, I feel like that'll be a lot easier than what I was doing with transforming various, like, coordinates and stuff. So let's try that instead. All right. Let's see, what am I gonna want? Raycast hit info also has a reference to the actual, like, shape that you hit, right? And the shape, call ab. The shape has a position with an X, Y, and Z. And we can say var direction to hit, let's call it. That's going to be hit info dot point. And since these are all going to be vectors, we can say hit info dot point dot subtract hit info dot shape dot position, and that is going to be a that's going to be a vector. And we can say we're going to want the, let's call this vector to hit. The direction to hit can be point direction from 0, 0 to vector to hit dot x vector to hit dot z, because y is up, so we want x and z here. And then we can say vector to rotor and direction to rotor, and this can be hit info dot, actually this can be hit info dot what was it, shape, god, dot shape dot position. And from that we're going to subtract hit info dot shape dot position. No, from that we're going to subtract ourselves. Sorry. Our own position. And our direction to rotor can be that. And if, what did I say? If the direction to the rotor is, ooh, alright, that's going to also cause problems with the 360-degree wraparound thing. Angle difference. Can I use angle difference? Is angle difference going to return, like, is this going to correctly account for, okay, I think it will. Oh, we've got an interactive example in the manual now. Nice. Alright. In that case, I can just say, like, if angle difference of the direction to hit is greater than the direction to rotor, I think. Then we can move in the positive direction. I'm missing something. Let's try that again. Otherwise, we can move in the negative direction. Okay. Is that going to be simpler? Is that going to, like, do what I want it to? All right, so we're hitting U correctly. If I hit U over here, it hits the correct side. If I go the other way, I think we've done it. Okay, I think this is rotating in the correct direction now. All right. Second try did it. I'm glad that this worked, because that feels a lot better than what I had the first time. Okay. Let's change, rotors can turn in the correct direction when hit. Alright, that was fun. So there's still the matter of, like, can a rotor turn if it's going to run into something? And there's not a, like, easy way to deal with that. So if I were to just take the block, let me take the block, let me put it on the ground, and let me move that into a location where it's going to, let's say x can be rotor1.x plus, like, 16 or so. Or how big are these? I want to say, let's say plus 20. And y can be, I mean, z can be rotor1.y plus 20. And that should put it in a location where, like, the rotors will hit the block. Not u. Dot z. And I think I'm going to want, like, if there's something in the way of a rotor. So, like, alright, so I probably will want it to be, like, plus 16 for better visualization. but in fact, let's make it less. Let's make it plus 10. I think if the rotor hits something, it should probably stop, right? If it hits a player or something NPC-like, that's probably okay. Because the player or NPCs can just be displaced from it and can just be, like, pushed around. But something like a block will, or a wall or something like that will mean that it can't turn, right? I think the way that I'm going to want it to work is, like, if you turn it and it hits something, it's just going to bounce off and go back to where it came from. And the way that I'm going to have it do that is by saving the rotor direction when it starts turning, and then, like, if it bounces something and then comes back to where it was going, it can just, like, set its target direction to where it started. I don't believe I have a collision mask for, like, specifically the player or an NPC, though. Where does the player do their collision? This would probably be like, where's handle motion? Oh no, you know what it probably would be? It would be an end step here. Okay, so it's an inherited end step, so that's going to be from NPC, which is going to be check moving objects, display sphere. Okay, so I'm once again having to, like, relearn how this works. The player actually isn't part of the collision world itself, I don't think, which makes my job a little bit easier, because I think now all I can say is, like, objgame.collision.check object, and then we're going to, collision.check object. If we check our own, is it C object or C objects? It's the latter. All right, because some objects can have more than one collision shapes. So if you hit something, you can say hit something turning around, and then you can set target direction equals our start direction, and then you can go back to where you came from. This won't work more than once, so if you can't have something like ping-ponging between directions. Okay, that didn't work. I-32 is an array. That's because... Okay, yeah, right. This needs to be a single C object, and it can't be like an array of them. We can do that for, like, every collision object, though. Let's see if that does what I want it to. Really? I would have thought that it should have moved for, like, a couple of frames. Is it too close? Is it just too close for it to... tell me that it's not colliding with itself, because it probably is. I have a feeling it's colliding with itself. Which acceleration structure are we using? Out of curiosity. I think it's a spatial hash. We're not actually... Oh, it is the octree. Alright, so if I go look at octree, actually, you know where I would want to do this is if object equals self return, if object mask and group are the same, or don't include each other, rather, return. And we can also say, like, if they both reference the same object. And that would prevent, for objects that have multiple collision shapes attached, that would prevent them from detecting collision with, like, themselves. Okay, that worked. Great. And if I stand here, it won't do that. It'll just push me around. And it'll even push me around on the backswing. All right. I like that. That worked. I'm glad that there was only a minimal amount of, like, screwing around there. Any other changes? The speed that we rotate is a little slow. I think I can say this can be in, like, if we say degrees per frame, let's make it 150 degrees per frame. Multiply that by the game's delta time, and that'll give us something that's probably a little more than twice as fast of a rotation rate as what we had before. All right, much better. Boink. Good enough. What did this change? So, a couple of things. I guess that's the main one, because the only other thing I did in there was, like, unhard coding the rotation speed. So, that'll be it for today. My name is Michael. I like wizards and dragons and making games. If you want the code for this, look for the GitHub repository down in the description of the video. You look for the 0.43 release/tag, and that's going to be what we got done this week. I guess I can also go back and go to the Codecks board and finally check off something. And that's pushable rotors. I think next time I'm going to implement pulleys, which, again, hopefully should be pretty much the same as... where's my done cards? Can I not see the done cards? I thought you could. But anyway, hopefully that should be pretty similar to seesaws. Maybe a little bit easier even, because you don't have to deal with rotations. And after that, it's off to NPC and characters. That's also going to be a lot of fun. You should all go check out Wizarducks and the Lost Hat, which is the game that I like to work on when I'm not doing YouTube stuff. Link to the Steam page can be found down below. If you're interested in all in weird game maker stuff or any making game maker games like this, feel free to subscribe. I have a Patreon, so if you want to contribute to the channel, links to that can be found in all the usual places. I hope you all found this entertaining, and I will see you all later. Special thanks to DJ Gibbles, Edward Hulk, Game Maker, Ganymede Ghost, Manta Ray, Spy Games, Squarecrow, Vitro V, and Zengiment for supporting these videos. If you feel inclined to support the channel, head on over to the Patreon page down in the video description to join the fun.